This is Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
Here we go.
You be the judge.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Order in the court.
This is Wretched Radio time for one of America's fastest growing game sensations. Which story is the best worstest? That's right. Which story is the best worstest? As always, representing the tens and tens of people who are listening to this here Wretched Radio program, our very own Spin Master, Jimmy Jam. Are you prepared for your awesome and solemn responsibility?
Absolutely.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to present to you a number of stories, and you're going to determine which one is bestest, worstest.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. This is really some great news here, Jimmy. The great news is COVID is not the leading cause of death. That's some really good news. Oh, it turns out abortion is. 42.6 million abortions conducted in 2020, surpassing world's leading causes of death. Hey, isn't that some great, terrible news? Communicable diseases killed more than 13 million people worldwide in 2020. That's nice to know, isn't it? Hey, that's Romans 1, come to think of it. They pay the due penalty in their bodies. That would be it right there. About 8.2 million people worldwide lost their lives to cancer. 5.1 million people and 2.5 million people succumbed to death as a result of smoking and alcohol, respectively. But don't worry, the good news is abortion still taking the lives of more people. And boy, what predictable news this was on day one, I believe, that our new president signed, or actually removed. How do they unwind the last presidential state where they sign the
undo?
It's not a law. It's just the executive order, which can be just revoked by the next guy. And so it was funding for abortions. But at least he doesn't tweet mean things. Sorry, that's still kind of stuck in my evangelical craw right there. Speaking of death, other leading causes of death in 2020 included road traffic accident fatalities, 1.4 million. Yikes. Suicides are responsible for nearly 1.1 million deaths across the globe. Depressed world. Here we've got the light. Here we've got hope. People are killing themselves. The total number of deaths worldwide in 2020, excluding abortions, was 59 million. But there were 42.6 million abortions. Whoa! We're just blowing by those causes of death like they're like a granny in a walker is what they are compared to abortion. If abortions were counted as a cause of death rather than just another health statistic, the global death toll in 2020 would increase to more than 100 million. Hey, so good. COVID isn't the leading. There's story number one for you, Jimmy.
Well, I don't know how you can get much worser than that.
Oh, hold on. That's why you're the judge.
Okay.
Bestest, worstest story number two. Hey, despite the challenges of COVID, people are making a living selling nude photos of themselves. So that's something that's just terrific. Social media platform, I'm not going to say it, that allows people to sell explicit photos of themselves has boomed during the pandemic. Well, at least it's not death, after all. But competition on the site means many won't earn all that much. So there's some people who are getting a very lavish reward from exposing themselves. As of December, it had more than 90 million users and more than 1 million content creators. Wow, if there's a black hole in the universe, it's the web and the pornography availability. That would be the black hole right there. Wow. So people, they think, well, and some of the stories, by the way, in this article, so disturbing. Well, I do have 2 small children that I have to feed, so mom's going to just do this to make a living. Okay. So there's good news. People are making a living, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's good.
Bestest, worstest story number 3. You ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah. It turns out now we understand who the real terrorists are. That's right.
Who are they?
The pro-life people. That's the bad part right there. The good news is Leah Torres, MD. This would be somebody who's a medical doctor. I Googled that. This is violent rhetoric. It is objectively false and meant to incite others to commit crimes against clinics, patients, and healthcare providers. This is what domestic terrorism looks like. To what is this medical doctor referring? To a tweet from Lila Rose. I believe she's Roman Catholic. She is a pro-life activist, tweeting 3 words, abortion is violence. The response from the pro-abort is, no, that tweet is violence. Another example that every single thing in this unsaved world is utterly backwards. This is such a perfect demonstration of that, isn't it? This captures the whole shebang. She says abortion is violence because, it dismembers an innocent human being in the womb of its mother. No, by you saying that, that's violence. Oh, that's really weird because I thought the sky was up, but you're saying it's down now. Okay, if east is west and a Chevrolet is a banana peel, I guess I'm catching on to this world that we're living in. Abortion is violence is now considered domestic terrorism. So, that's been resolved for us, Jimmy. That would be story number 3.
Are we ready to vote yet?
No, sir. I have more in my never-before nicotine-stained fingers. Oh, this is really good news. Oh, whew.
What a change.
You don't have anything to worry about because the majority of people in Congress are Christians.
Oh.
Yeah, 88% are professing Christians.
Oh, that's noticeable.
Yeah, they don't act like it, but hey, there's some good news that they still promote abortion, undermine marriage, everything that is evil, they give hearty approval to, despite the fact that they say they're Christians. So there's story number 4. You keeping up with this, bad boy?
Yeah, I am.
Well, this is really, I feel so affirmed by this story. This is really good news. Once again, quote, religion, we've got something right. That's really, really good news. Bad news is it's psychologists telling us we've stumbled over a blind squirrel in the nut twice a day in the shed. Religion and psychology share methods for reducing stress, says a University of Illinois study. That's right, revealing that religious people, we use coping strategies used by psychologists when working through stressful life situations. Oh, I'm so relieved that they came first in all of this. Isn't this great? This was a study done by some smart people who profess to be wise at the University of Illinois. It appears religious people are making use of some of the same tools that psychologists have systematically identified as effective in increasing well-being and protecting against distress. This is absolutely brazen. Do psychologists ever use anything that's common sense? Of course they do. That's pretty much all they can do because they have no source of authority. But for them to say, and religion is catching on, they're using the tools that we use, is absolutely another demonstration of the brazen opinion of themselves in the scientific community, especially the social sciences like psychology. Here's some of the tools that you and I have been using, Christian. You ready? You didn't realize this, but when you said to somebody, hey, God is sovereign, he's running the universe, he cares for you, he feeds the sparrows, he clothes the lilies, he certainly loves you, and he demonstrated it by dying for you while you were yet sinning, and your biggest problem has been solved. You no longer face the wrath of God. You have got a place being prepared for you. Nope, that wasn't applying the Bible. That's called cognitive reappraisal. Ooh. Where people try to address hardships with a positive attitude. That's an example of a coping mechanism used by both the religious and psychological communities. Oh, I'm so glad to get their affirmation. For example, when somebody dies, a religious person may say, okay, now they're with God. while someone who isn't religious may say, well, at least they're not suffering anymore. So you see, very scientific study where science is giving hearty affirmation to Christianity. That's really good news right there. That's story number 5. 1, abortion, number 1 cause of death. People are selling pictures of themselves on the internet to make a living. 3, Lila Rose is now a terrorist for saying abortion is violence. 4, the Congress is 88% Christian. What are we worried about? And number 5, psychology says religion occasionally gets something right. Jimmy Jam.
Yeah.
You be the judge.
What say you, sir? Which story is bestest, worstest?
Yeah, it can't get much worse than story number 1.
Story number 1.
Story number 1.
Congratulations to the world for killing more people, babies, no less, via abortion than just lapping every other form of death. Congratulations. But at least he doesn't tweet mean things. This is Wretched Radio. Training English speakers to be foreign missionaries is expensive and difficult.
You're going to spend 7 or 8 years learning Chinese, and then you're going to have to figure out how to preach effectively in Chinese, and you're going to have to kind of work your way into the culture. That is a very, very challenging thing.
The Masters Academy International trains indigenous men to rightly divide the word of truth, return to their countries, and fill empty pulpits. Learn more about the Masters Academy at wretched.org/pastor.